morning. Good morning and welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose and it's great to see you here. Thank you for springing ahead and showing up and being here in all of your beauty. Let's start our celebration service this morning by standing up and singing together, "Love is Our Decision." As we breathe deeply and move into that spaciousness that allows us to hear the words of the sacred reading.
Lousy at Math by Hafiz. Once a group of thieves stole a rare diamond, larger than 2 goose eggs. Its value could have easily bought 3,000 horses and 3,000 acres of the most fertile land in Shiraz. The thieves got drunk that night to celebrate their great haul. But during the course of the evening, the effects of the liquor and their mistrust of each other grew to such an extent, they decided to divide the stone into pieces. Of course, then the priceless became lost. Most everybody is lousy at math and does that to God. Dissects the indivisible one by thinking and saying, "This is my beloved. He looks like this and he acts like that. How could that dope over there really be God?" And so it is.
And so it is. Beautiful Hafiz, wonderful. Oh, so that's what this morning is really about, is looking where we're dividing the beloved. And I ask you to start by looking into your own heart and your own soul and seeing where you may be splitting aspects of yourself off from the beloved, saying, that can't possibly be God. But what if it is? God is omnipresent. God is everything. God is all places, everywhere, all aspects of being. And so let us know that for ourselves as we sing, "I am remembering." And as we know it for ourselves, we automatically know it for others. So this song, this blessing, blesses the world of all beings everywhere. And let us sing together. I am remembering who I am. In this beautiful, open-hearted remembrance, let us breathe in deeply and then exhale, opening our eyes in love with what is, as it is, and so it is.
Good morning. This is a song of encouragement if you ever find yourself beset with troubles. Encouraging us to remember, open a space within for the gift of the divine. Sunlight falling, warm around your head, bright light calling, time to rise from bed. After all that you've been through, your sweet dream is calling you. Wake up, rise up. You breathe it in, you can start all over again. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow, and it's all right now. Now move on. You need not mention all the webs you spun. No invention can undo what's done. Guilt can only weigh you down if you let it hang around. Wake up, rise up, breathe it in. You can start all over again. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow, and it's all right now. Give in to this epiphany. Let your soul sing a symphony. Sing against darker destinies and let it all go. Why not give yourself another chance to live and to love beyond your circumstance? Get up, stand up, and join the dance. And let it all go. Just let it all go. Let it go, 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 and just move on. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow. It's all right now. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow. It's all right now. Move on. Move on, move on. Sunlight falling warm around your head, it's all right. Bright light calling, time to rise from bed, it's all right. It's all right.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you, beautiful band, and Ray. It was just wonderful. And Hugh for your very witty spiritual reading, and Karen for her beautiful prayer. Thank you all. And everything is just so amazing sometimes, isn't it? It's just an amazing morning, and I'm just so delighted to be here to talk with you about, what's my talk title? Pull up Prasad power. And let me explain a little bit about what that means. You'll notice that on the altar, in this part of the altar, we have pull-ups, right? Everybody know what a pull-up is? Do I need to explain that to anybody? You do know, okay. I need to explain. So, a pull-up is like training, they're training pants. They're like diapers for bigger kids, right? And the reason that we have them on the altar is because we are doing a collection for Step Up Ventura. And that's an organization that serves young homeless children with daycare. And a lot of them, because they've been homeless, haven't been toilet trained. So they need extra larger pull-ups for that. So we're providing pull-ups. That's one of the featured items for this morning. Everybody clear on what a pull-up is? I don't need to take one out and pull it up, do I? Okay, good. I don't think it would do much for the outfit, you know? And then the other thing we have up here is power bars, and that's another part of the collection that we're doing to help our homeless brothers and sisters. We have frequent visitors at the church, at the center here, and we're collecting various items such as blankets and power bars and other things, hand sanitizing wipes, to be able to offer them something when they come by the center. And it's a beautiful inspiration that was inspired by something not very nice, but hopefully I'll get to that in the midst of this talk, because really what this talk is about is exactly what Hugh talked about in the reading, is that we tend to divide God. We tend to divide absolute reality into, okay, this part is love, but this part isn't, and this part is goodness, but this part is badness. And that is the source of our unhappiness. What we are doing in this spiritual center is that we are learning to see that everything is part of the absolute. Everything is part of existence. And that which is omnipresent cannot be divided. So everything is love. Everything is God. Everything is absolute. Everything is perfection expressing. Everything is wholeness. Again, Ernest Holmes said that there is nothing to be healed, only wholeness to be revealed. And that is the truth. That is the truth. That's all you need to know. So I guess we can all go, no, kidding. We're not going anywhere. We got stuff to cover here. Because I didn't talk about what Prasad is, right? The talk title is Pull Up Your Prasad Power. And Prasad is a short way of defining it as holy food. It's a Sanskrit word. In various spiritual traditions, they offer food to the deity, to the god or goddess, and then sometimes at the end of a ritual, the participants will eat the food, and they are said to embody the qualities of the divine. It's very much, it's the Eastern version of communion, right? In certain traditions, communion is embodying the qualities of the Christ. You know, Richard Rohr, one of the Christian spiritual teachers that I follow, says that communion is reminding the bread and the wine what it really is. So it can remind us who we really are, so that we can remind others what they really are. And that's the same thing as prasad. Prasad is food that is invested and infused with the divine, and we eat it, and then we remember that we are infused with the divine as well. When I was in India, though, I learned a different definition of prasad that I'd like to share with you, and that is that prasad is food prepared with love. And so the food that we had in India was all prepared with love, and it was delicious, and it was wonderful and beautiful, and it gave me this sense of reverence whenever I was eating, that this was food prepared with love. But that concept deepened as I started to think about all food everywhere, even power bars, maybe even Burger King, which I haven't eaten at for years, but who knows? Maybe all food is food prepared with love. Because if there is only love, there is nothing else. Love is preparing love to be love and to be more love, to prepare more love. So all food, and when you think about it, when you think about nature, how many of you have fruit trees? Right? A lot of you, right? So we're so blessed to live in Southern California with fruit trees, and you see that the fruit, that there's this energy that comes through the tree that creates fruit. And when it's barren, you can still trust that the energy is moving through the fruit and doing what it needs to do, or moving through the tree and doing what it needs to do. That is the energy of love. And the energy that grows carrots underneath the soil, or that sends broccoli. Does broccoli grow above the soil? Yes, it does, right? Broccoli up above the soil. All of that energy. I have a gardener sitting in the front row and one center stage there. All of that energy is love. And it's even if people don't know it, they're picking it with love and they're preparing it with love. And we don't only have food for the body, but we have food for the senses, food for the eyes, food for the eyes. Hello, look at that, food for the eyes. And we have food for the soul and food for the mind, that we are constantly being fed, and all food is food prepared with love. All food is prasad. So everything is prasad. Everything is prasad. Yet the question remains, how do we live like this truth is true? How do we remember that everything is holy? Everything is love, preparing love. Everything is prepared with love so that thing that is prepared with love can prepare more love. How do we remember that? Okay. So you may have noticed that I'm wearing couture this morning. It's Amy Michelson couture. It's an Amy Michelson original. And yes. Amy is our featured 5-minute miracle at the end of this message that I'm giving. But there's going to be a paradox here in just a minute, because I'm going to talk about something that's not very nice. Now, if you're dainty, or it's fine with me, but it's some people would call it not church friendly. And if you're dainty, this might be a time to take out your cell phones and just start texting, okay, about another topic. All right. I think the problem that we have, exactly as it said in the poem, and we're going to use food as the analogy, is that we decide when something is not love. We say this is love, but this isn't. So if prasad is food prepared with love, at what point does it become something other than love? We eat it. Digestion is a miracle of grace. It goes into our bloodstream through the small intestine and circulates all around our body. That's a miracle. That's love. It is assimilated into the cells. That's love. And that which is not needed is eliminated. Is that love? It's a stretch, right? But it is. It is. You know, that form of love changed my life. In fact, that form of life, which was people without homes pooping on, not next to the church, but on the church, was what inspired this revelation within me that helped me recognize that I was not annoyed at the activity or the behavior or even the people. I was annoyed at my feeling of helplessness, and transformed that into helplessness, and then met with a committee about outreach. And this is okay, poop is the reason for this, okay? You see how anything can be love, right? Thank you. Ray knows. Yes. Yes, thank you. Please feel free to speak about that before you sing. So we have to watch ourselves and ask ourselves, where in our life are we deciding that something is no longer love? Because it has to all be love. Love is omnipresent. If love is omnipresent, then there can't be love and something else, right? I think the way that we do this is that we simply we practice the principles. We practice the principles of seeing and believing and noticing when we are saying that this does not exist inside the kingdom of heaven, this somehow is outside of the kingdom of heaven. As Hugh said in the poem, that dope over there is not what my beloved looks like, right? And I'm pointing deliberately at the door. I'm not pointing to anybody over here, right? But what about the dope in here? Here, this side of the room is groaning. This side of the room has it down pat, right? No dope in here over there. We don't know about the middle. They're in the middle. They're undecided. Yeah. No. What about the dope in here? So can we look within and look at the places that we say are not love? In my work as a minister, I hear it all the time. I have lost my faith. How can I possibly be a member of this church when I have lost my faith? I feel guilty about something. How can I be enough when I feel so guilty? I am ashamed of who I am. How can I live with this shame? And what if the guilt and the losing of the faith and the shame and the mistakes and the failures, what if that is all love too? Can we look within ourselves and say, okay, there's this place where I am disregarding the kingdom of heaven that is within because it looks unlike what I think it should look like? You know, I think I've shared with you before that one of my biggest ones is, Bonnie, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong, right? And one of the most powerful things that has come to me in the idea of you're doing it wrong, and I'm speaking, everything. I'm doing everything wrong, really, but I'm speaking about ministry, is to just say, yeah, I am doing it wrong. Isn't that awesome? Because I ask you to take a survey among your friends and your relatives and your neighbors. How many of their ministers stood here on a Sunday dressed in haute couture and talked about poo? Come on, baby. There you go. So I'm doing it wrong, and I'm proud to do it wrong. Hallelujah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we look at all of those forsaken parts of ourselves and we say, this is love too. And we may not know how, we may not have a good reason for it to be love, but we say that it has to be love. It cannot be anything else. We say, this is love too, and then we wait for the answer and the resolution to come with us, to come to us. I spent a whole morning walking on Sulphur Mountain this past week, walking up there, thinking about the idea of reconciliation, the third force that I've talked about at great length here, and I'm doing a class on it after Easter, which scares me a little bit. But anyway, just thinking about the third force and how reconciliation seems like it's the key to everything. And when I got back, I had 5 miracles in my mailbox, in my email box. 5 things that affect a lot of you, by the way, with really wonderful stuff that I can't talk about yet because it's not definite. But reconciliation is such an attractive energy. It draws into our awakening consciousness the beauty and the power and the love that is for us when we decide to stop dividing up the kingdom of heaven, right? Reconciliation is the energy of trust. It is the energy of peace. It is the energy of power. It is the energy of win-win. It is the energy that brings us home to the kingdom of heaven here on earth. And we have that. That's the good news too. We all have the capacity to have that. We just have to know what we're doing, and that's why we're here, is to support each other in doing that, in reconciling. Another thing that I've noticed, another way that we decide that we are not part of the kingdom of heaven, that parts of ourselves are not part of the kingdom of heaven, is that we sometimes decide that our gifts are not worthy. The best parts of ourselves are not worthy. Amy's going to address that a bit in her talk, but I'm going to, I think, right? Okay. We'll see what happens. But anyway, the business about I'm not doing it right, and I'm happy that I'm not doing it right. The reason that I'm happy about not doing it right is that it is my gift to do it wrong, to be unlike tamer ministers, to be able to take the profane and the sacred and blend it into something beautiful. I've had people complain about me so much. Oh my God, Bonnie, your mouth, your mind. I've had people say to me, we will forgive you for that weakness. And I've come to the place where I can say, I don't consider it a weakness. It's my greatest strength. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm getting all this encouragement. God knows what's going to fly out of my mouth next week. So look at your gifts and honor your gifts, because your gifts are there for a high and a holy purpose. And as soon as you start acknowledging that is a gift, and that it's not that the flaw is often the gift, that it is actually a gift, then things start to bloom and blossom for you in miraculous ways, in ways that are visible, in ways that are invisible. We just train ourselves to see it. We train ourselves to see it and to be astonished and to speak about it. Another way that we practice this idea of seeing the holiness in everything. If we see it in ourselves, we will see it in other people, right? If we see holiness in ourselves, we will see it in other people. But we also have to see it in other people to see it in ourselves. I believe that this center is incredibly open-minded. The people that come here are open-minded towards any of the groups that society tends to marginalize, people of different races, people of different sexual orientations, people from different countries, different spiritualities, all kinds of things. We are so open and so receptive and so willing to love everybody, sort of. Because I think that we all marginalize someone some of the time. There's this idea in I think it's in the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles, where it says, there's a door, and it says, open this door if you're not prejudiced. And the door is locked. Nobody can open it, because everybody has prejudice, and everybody marginalizes people at times. For me, I can be very open about this, as I have been. I was marginalizing people without homes. I was seeing them as a burden. And even in the desire to change it, I was saying eradicate homelessness rather than embrace homelessness. And I've been able to move to that place where, I'm going to say this in a way that sounds sounds kind, because I mean it in a kind way, but I'm actually, I used to be afraid when I would run into homeless people on the street and I wouldn't make eye contact and I wouldn't know where to look. And again, that wasn't my disdain for them, it was my own feelings of helplessness, I realized. But now, when I see a homeless people, I get excited because I have something to give them. There were more boxes of, I bought some of those power bars up there. There were more boxes when I started out. But as I was walking from the place where I purchased them, I saw a man with a sign that said he was homeless, and I gave him a box of power bars, and it felt so good. And then I saw another man digging through the garbage, and I said, "Do you want some food?" And he said, "Yes," and I gave him a box of power bars, and it felt so good. So you see, when we get into this mode of service, when we get into this mode of seeing love and God and everything, when we are a champion for those that are typically marginalized, then we open our hearts to be that place where Spirit pours through, and it pours through us, and it comes back and blesses us in multitudinous ways, in ways that are seen and unseen, in ways that are beautiful, in ways that are powerful. You are the face of God. You are the hands of God. You are the feet of God. You are the heart of God. And in order to know that, we have to use it. There's one more group that I want to speak about that we tend to marginalize. I have a friend, he's someone that's involved with the service-based organization, which is Nipun Mehta, who, as you know, I'm close to and have done a lot of work with that organization. And this man, his name is Pancho, and he was a student at UCLA working in astrophysics, and recognized that his work was going to be used to make weapons of destruction, and dropped out of UCLA. He is no longer a legal citizen of the United States, but he lives here. And he lives in a street where there is a lot of gang activity. But rather than lock his doors and shut people out, he opened his doors. He doesn't lock his door, and he gathered the neighbors together and asked them, what type of currency can we exchange? And they came up with vegetables. They all share their vegetables from their various gardens. Pancho was very active in the Occupy movement. In fact, he was arrested during it. He was arrested for, let me tell the story this way. He was meditating, trying to hold a space of peace and goodness. And he was arrested for disturbing the peace, for excessive meditating. But when he went to the jail, he also held that place of peace and goodness. And the jail became an ashram. But I was reading about Pancho the other day as I was doing some research for my blog that I'm writing, and it said that one of the things that Pancho did in his work with the Occupy movement was to make the message loud and clear that we need to embrace the 1%. That we cannot facilitate change by the hatred and disdain of others, by the jealousy, by the envy, by the pushing away, by the violence of others. We have to embrace the 1%. And we have to find a way to embrace in our hearts anyone or anything that seems like it's against us. Amen. I forgot something really important that wanted to happen. Do you feel like doing that blessing right now? If you intro it. In speaking about that food is holy, that all life is holy, I'm going to have Hugh come up and do a blessing that we do sometimes at our house when we eat, usually just when we have guests. It was taught to him by his spiritual teacher, John Bennett, and it's beautiful. And if you want the words to it, it's in my blog post that I did last night, and you can get to the blog through our website.
All life is one. Everything that lives is holy. Plants, animals, and men, all must eat to live and nourish one another. We bless the lives that have died to give us our food. Let us eat together gratefully, resolving by our work to pay the debt of our existence.
And so it is. Yeah. It's a beautiful blessing, and it speaks to what we're talking about today. Prasad, all life is holy. Everything is holy. Your flaws, your strengths, the flaws of others, the strengths of others, the 99%, the 1%, the rich, the poor, the marginalized. Everything is holy. Everything nourishes one another. And we work together to pay the unpayable debt of our existence by simply, I think the way we pay the debt of our existence is by saying thank you and by saying, yes, this too is holy. I'm going to invite Amy Michelson to come up and speak about how she is using these principles in her life.
Good morning. Okay, so about beauty, Malibu Barbie, and abundance. That is what Bonnie asked me to talk about. So hang on, I'm going to hope this will make sense. Beauty, Malibu Barbie, abundance. So a few years ago, well, back a long time ago, most of my professional life I've been a couture fashion designer. And then a few years ago, I was struck by a divine idea. Loudly, I heard this voice that said, wall jewelry. And I thought, what? But I had this vision of giant malas that would hang on the wall and create sacred space and just pour love and prayer into your living space. I had this vision of spas and hotels and homes and okay. So I went about trying to figure out how to make those, and you can see them here. And during that time, with Bonnie's encouragement, I was continuing to figure out how to make them, even though I didn't really know why I was making them. And I guess for me, beauty, to behold beauty, like Bonnie said, there are so many different kinds of expressions of God. And for me, to behold beauty is to behold the face of God. And after much figuring out and Bonnie encouraging me, lo and behold, I got my first order for a piece of sacred wall jewelry from a woman in Malibu. And I remember talking to Reverend Bonnie and saying that I was concerned because the pieces were so expensive to make. They're all hand-leafed with gold and silver. And I could only sell them to the 1%, to the wealthy people like this client in Malibu. And very snarkily, I referred to her as Malibu Barbie. So Bonnie very wisely said, Malibu Barbie needs love too. So this is what I'm really here to talk about. Taking this mystical prosperity class that Bonnie is teaching has really asked me to stretch my abundance consciousness, watch my thoughts, watch where I put my faith. So when she asked me to talk about Malibu Barbie, I had to really think. I didn't really know what to say, so I did what I know how to do now, and that is I sat down and I asked God to write through my pen. And here's what I learned. I learned that calling this wonderful woman who loved my work Malibu Barbie was a way to put her down for having a beautiful, rich, happy, and opulent life. What was up with that? I make beauty. I make expensive, opulent beauty, and I always have. Starting at age 22, my fashion design career exploded in New York City, my gowns lighting up the pages of Harper's Bazaar, Vogue magazine, and the windows of Bergdorf Goodman, Henry Bendel, Martha's, Palm Beach, Park Avenue, more recently gracing celebrities like Salma Hayek, Halle Berry, Sandra Bullock on the red carpet. The places my beauty has been. Even now, I'm feeling a little better about it, but I feel this judging voice saying that I'm bragging or I'm trying to be superior. And that you will judge me like some spiritual books judge desire and wealth for beautiful things. And I realized that it's an old tape that's running me from my Quaker upbringing. It is a gift to be simple and poor. So I think the Quakers may have hijacked my abundance consciousness. And I think that it was the inner Quaker Amy who was calling my wonderful client Malibu Barbie, just because she lived in a mansion. No, it was actually a Barbie dream house on a mountain overlooking the shimmering Pacific. And she was married to Ken, a fitness guru, who at 60-something still sported a six-pack. And she had an adorable blonde Labradoodle. I am really glad that I can publicly apologize for making fun of such a glorious expression of beauty, love, joy, and abundance. What was I thinking? So, this icky old belief that success and money aren't spiritual, except for Oprah, I don't know how she gets a pass, but somehow she does. So I now choose to change my thoughts. And I bless the 1%. And I bless the part of me that is confused and jealous and yearning. Because there is no such thing as 1%. There is only 100%. There is only God, absolute reality, ever-present, abundant love, everywhere, always. Thank you. And so I choose to embrace and hopefully love my judgment of the 1%. I embrace all that I have and all that I don't have. And I choose to love my opposing beliefs and love the part of myself that is constricted and confused. And so I invoke the third force, that reconciling factor, to help me with this new knowing of the truth. And the knowing that God rushes through me as unstoppable artistry and inspired brilliance and world-class couture. Yeah. So creating beauty is my gift, and it's my God-given gift. And when I leave here today, I'll take off the fancy gown and I'll go take care of my 93-year-old mother who has dementia. And I do that with love and 100% commitment. Because it's all God, and it's using my gifts. And so I say, may my gifts bless many and return to me multiplied in miraculous ways. Thank you.
Thanks. Oh my goodness, we're running a little late today, but it's a really good Sunday, isn't it? I hope that's okay. Yeah. And besides, you lost an hour, so you're about to lose some more. Anyway, one more thing I just want to say real quick before we go our separate ways. We've been talking about Prasad and service, and Amy's talk was so much about not hiding your light under a bushel. Amy's gift is beauty, and she is just amazing. Everybody sitting here has an amazing gift to offer, and I'm wondering if some of you might like to offer it in service to the center in a particular way that I have in mind right now. We have had two wonderful volunteers, Linda and Lacey, who have served our hospitality for years, a long time. So first of all, let's acknowledge both of them for the beautiful work that they have done. They are both about to graduate as practitioners, and they are going to start serving in other areas, just to broaden their horizons a bit. And so we're going to need to change or do something with hospitality. And it feels like a time, because there's so much beautiful energy bubbling up in the center right now, and transformative energy. It feels like a time to kind of reinvent the way that we do hospitality. So if you are interested in participating in a discussion only, this is not necessarily your commitment to serve, but it might turn into that. If you are interested in participating in a discussion with me about how to reinvent hospitality, please see Linda over there, a beautiful woman wearing the blue jacket. And we'll take your name and number and we'll set up a meeting. It's all about service. it's all about service. Service helps us realize that the one is the one, and that the one lives and moves and has its perfect being. It moves through us and greets the perfect being in others. And that perfect being circles back and blesses us so that we don't know who is blessing who. That's living. That is life. That is love. That is absolute reality. That is God. That is all of us. And so in the spirit of keeping the energy pure, let us click our fingers instead of applauding. There we go. And let us pray. Thank you. And so I turn within and absolutely trust and know that there is one perfect life, that is wholeness, that is love, that is divine, that is power, that is presence, that is all that has been spoken and all that has been not spoken. I connect with that loving presence right now as I call it my own. And I know that it is true for me and it is true for every single person sitting here in this sacred sanctuary, that everyone and everything is holy, and that we are a vivid and alive part of that beauty and that holiness. And so in this knowing, I speak these words of truth for all of us. I know that we are all committed to looking within and seeing if there is any place within ourselves that we are naming unholy. And we look at that place and we embrace it and we love it back into truth. And we look outside of ourselves and see if there's any condition, any person, any situation in the world that we are also calling unholy, saying this cannot be the beloved. And we look at that with love and with respect and with compassion. And we love that back into wholeness as well. This truly is a center of love where we are learning to be love, share love, and serve love. And I know that we are divinely blessed to be here together, sharing in this fellowship, sharing in this beautiful circulating energy of love that we can then ripple out into the world in unseen, invisible, unspeakable, beautiful ways. And so I'm just so grateful. So grateful for this teaching, so grateful for this truth, so grateful for the wisdom of love that pours through each of us in unique and wonderful ways, ways that are surprising and beautiful and miraculous. I bless this spiritual center as I bless all paths to God. Churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams. I bless all of them, for all of them are a blessing. And with a heart filled with blessedness, I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, God. And I release these words into mystical law, and together we say, and so it is. I am so blessed.
Everywhere I go, all this holy, holy, holy God is surrounding me. Brother, sun, and sister moon survey my dominion. Every home in every land is home to me. Holy, holy, there is nothing to condemn. There is nothing to feel guilty for. There is nothing to suppress, nothing to repress. Oh, not anymore, not anymore. 'Cause deep down in my soul, I know God is all there is. So I dance to the rhythm as all creation cries out, holy, holy, oh holy, oh holy, 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 holy.